What is going on, YouTube? I am Lamont at large. Today I am at the Resurrection Cemetery here in Madison, Wisconsin. Mark Moore, beloved son of Melvin and Alice, 1953 to 1975. My Jesus, mercy. Mark died in an apartment fire. He had lived in the apartment here in Madison for a couple months. The coroner's office determined that he died from smoke inhalation and severe burns. The cause of the fire was determined to be accidental. This is Lorraine Frances Herring. She was 18 years old. She was a high school student here in Madison, Wisconsin, and she went on a Easter weekend trip down to Chicago with family and friends, and that is unfortunately where she passed away. It says that she died of rheumatism of the heart. Of course, 100 years ago. I'm not sure if medical advancement was really here at that time, so I imagine they did some form of autopsy, and that is simply what it says on there. Rheumatism is basically, it would be like some kind of inflammation of the tissue area of the heart. So who knows if this poor girl was born with a heart murmur or a heart defect or something along the lines. This is John F. Wall, December 5th, 1956 to July 18th, 1973. He was a high school sophomore on the track team at the time of his death. He was hiking at Rochecry State Park in Adams Friendship, Wisconsin, and he fell off of a cliff to his death. Douglas Kaczynski, 1955 to 1964, just says online that he died Saturday at a hospital after a long illness. That's his father, James, to his left. To the right, I'm not really sure who that is. That might possibly be his, either his daughter or his second wife. I'm not sure. His first wife, she's not buried here. She's buried up in Monona. That would be, of course, Douglas's mother. Robin, the one with a song forever on her lips and the rhythms of nature in her heart, flew home to heaven on Sunday, November 28, 1999. She passed away instantly in a car accident while returning to Winona State University after spending the Thanksgiving holiday weekend with her family in Madison and Milwaukee. Robin was a free spirit who brought infectious love, laughter, and joy to everyone in her life. Her gifts were dance, music, and especially drums, and a great love for animals and nature. She was also an award-winning horsewoman, a brilliant artist and writer. She was creative, open-minded, and adventurous. Her courageous, pure, and honest heart will live forever in those who knew her. There is no words that can express how we miss our beautiful, precious daughter, granddaughter, sister, and friend. Robin, it has been the greatest honor to know you, to love you, and be loved by you during the days we shared with you here on earth. Our only comfort is that you are now at peace in heaven with the Lord. Robin, you will be deeply, deeply missed. Frank McCormick, January 30th, 1908 to August 30th, 1938. Frank was 30 years old. He was a pilot, and he was giving flying lessons to some people. And the plane that he was riding in had crashed, where he had a student in the plane with him, a man by the name of Leo Haig. When the plane crashed, the other folks on the ground ran to the plane to check on them to see if they were okay. And according to one of the eyewitnesses, both men, Frank and Leo, who were in the plane, were both alive and both conscious. And as one of them ran to go find the telephone to call the paramedics, Frank literally died within about a few minutes after the crash. When the paramedics arrived, he was already dead, and they took Leo to the hospital. He died about an hour or so after the crash. And coincidentally enough, Leo Haig, the other man who died in the crash, wasn't supposed to be in the plane at that time. One of the other students decided at the last minute not to go into the plane, and so Leo took his place. It was not determined how the plane crashed. It's just there was no structural, faults with the plane itself. The witnesses on the ground just heard the engine just shutter off, and it crashed into a kind of like a swamp type area. The day of the crash was a day just like this. It was a nice day. There was clouds in the sky, but the visibility was great. So they just determined that the plane crashed due to engine failure. And Lenore Egan McCormick, that, of course, is his widow. Over 60 years, and she's still buried next to her husband. He left behind his wife at the time and a baby daughter. This here is Claire Arnold, January 26, 1923 to December 25th, 1950. He died after a long illness in the hospital. He was a World War II vet. He did 3 years fighting the evil Axis over in Europe. He was awarded the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart. He was wounded during the Battle of the Bulge. The Battle of the Bulge was basically, it was Germany's last-ditch effort to regain control of a port in Belgium, and they were trying to split the Allied lines and circle back around them and just crush them, away so they can use the port, which was a very important port to receive troops, supplies, and what have you. And died very, very young. And on this Memorial Day that I record this video, is young men like this that, risk their lives to go out to some, foreign soil, not knowing if they're going to come back to fight for our freedom, so I could do these videos so I don't have to speak German. And to all those out there, give a big shout out to anybody who served in the military. This is your day to be honored and to remember those who were not fortunate enough to make it back home. Roberta Ann Bennett, April 9th, 1954 to August 21st, 1968. She was 14 years old at the time of her death. She was an 8th grader. She had just completed the 8th grade at Blessed Sacrament Catholic School, and she was supposed to start high school the following school year, and unfortunately she passed away due to complications from an asthma attack. This is Andrew James Schaefer, and he's buried next to his baby sister. He was with a couple of his friends in northeastern Minnesota walking along the Poplar River when he slipped on some slippery rocks because it had just rained that week, heavy rain. And he fell into the river, and he tried to grab the leg of one of his friends to keep from being swept away, but unfortunately he was unsuccessful, and it took him out over a waterfall. And it took a few days, but eventually his body came up. He drowned in the river. His friends were up in that part of northeastern Minnesota. They were on their way to the border to go into Canada because they were looking for work. This is Patricia Ann Chamberlain. She's buried next to her parents, Clyde and Mary. Patricia died when she was 17 years old. She died, it says, from a brief illness. She was 2 weeks away from graduating high school, and after she graduated, she was going to announce that she was going to be getting engaged to one Chester Frisch, and sadly that did not happen.